You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin. Joining me tonight, she made her debut at LFC 45 Booty Camp 6 and a victory over Courtney, Coco, Loco, Pemberton. Tonight, she is dressed as Brandon Lee's The Crow, mixed with a little WCW sting up in this piece. You can even throw in some Kiss, if you will. Gene Simmons and the rest of the gang. She wants to rock and roll all night and party every day. The Crossfire. How are you, Channy?
Oh my gosh, I'm staying blessed. The community is awesome all around. And again, thanks for having me. We've been trying to set this up for a while, and it was actually a really good call on your part to wait till after the match and after booty camp to discuss this. And yes, I have so much tea and so much to reflect on for sure.
Of course. I mean, first and foremost, this being your first LFC event took place at Fight Capital Gym. Everybody on this card killed it. I urge everyone to go to lfcfights.com and check out the event. But for you, you did post a lot of the stuff training at the FSW arena, along with great coaches like Coach Sarah, like everybody at FSW. I actually wanted to start there. Talk about training at FSW, because that's a great wrestling school in Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So definitely one of my first impressions is going back towards the garage entrance, and then you just enter black curtains. Like, okay, I don't know what's beyond these black curtains, but we're going through it. But yeah, everyone was pretty down to earth, very welcoming. And the ring itself, I fell in love with that ring. It was the most durable, heavy-duty ropes I've ever felt. Like, I didn't think ropes could have grip on them, but these specific ropes has like a bunch of indentations and grip. So that was real fun, really durable. It's probably to do a bunch of jumps and lots of spring, different from the boxing rope rings that I'm used to, which are softer. So the ring itself was fun, and when we were doing exercises and warm-ups on it, the impact is so loud and echoes, but that's how you know you're kind of passionate about the sport, when you like hearing those types of sounds, the slams in the ring. So that was nice on some ASMR thing there. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of it too, Channy. I think getting into that 20x20 ring and training and learning and taking the bumps and really applying the craft, and you got people there that know what they're doing. And I mean, the FSW arena, for those who are new to the FSW and how it works, I mean, you've seen a lot of great talents like LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and many others, Karrion Kross, Killer Cross, go to WWE and many wrestling promotions there, and now LFC, which hosts a lot of great talent like yourself.
Oh my gosh.
It's really one of like the mainstays and one of the best indies in Las Vegas, and it's great from the training facility. So to see you there and many others, it did bring a smile to my face that you got to really explore the craft and now really excel and accentuate the professional wrestling ring.
Hell yeah, it's such an honor, and it's humbling because being my first time there, I saw all the posters, so definitely I'm sure there are all sorts of trailblazers that stepped into that room, that ring, underneath that roof, So I could already feel the passion in there, the community in there. And yeah, I'm so thankful for Coach Sarah and Coach Remy, because they helped balance out all the different personalities there, all the different energies there, helped keep us more focused, to polish our game plan, to make sure our techniques are there and safety protocols, because them being there made me feel a lot better about going forward on the combos that we're gonna do, the moves that we're gonna do. And me, even though I do come from an MMA foundation and background, I had to learn to turn on and off like gauging like real competition, real aggressiveness with the showmanship, stunt choreography, you know, still making it look good, that stage presence, you know, the personality that comes in, the charisma that comes in. And they were able to help me kind of gauge that as well, and being safe and coordinate things with my partner. And yeah, they were such a glue and buffer there for sure, because from what Sarah said on day one of the training camp, she didn't advise a lot of the moves that we were gonna attempt, especially with it being my first match, and me still relatively being a noob and beginner in the scene. But with me being athletic and coordinating enough, I'm able to do with the original game plan. I'm able to do a lot of these intermediate, more advanced moves. So I'm sure. So the CEO producer Sean, he was doing BTS and doing a lot of like reality show scenes and footage. So in regards to the booty camp and training fight camp process in those 4 days, I'm sure he caught majority of that on camera. And it was such a trial and error process for me, because I did not realize how much improv was going to go into this. Like I'm over here thinking, okay, we have plan A, no, we have plan B, no, we have plan C, no, we have plan D. Let's plan for all these contingencies, because you never know. And you know, especially with Coco and me, we have different learning methods. We process information differently. She comes off more as an extrovert. I come off more as an introvert. That was also a learning trial and error process with me as well personally. Working with her, like trying to figure out our chemistry together in the ring and trying to figure out moves together. It felt like dating. We had to learn each other's like do's and don'ts, what we're comfortable with doing, what we're not comfortable with doing, you know. And but I respect her enthusiasm and passion. She has so many ideas in regards to moves that she wanted to do, and she might have been overcompensating for me, where I didn't really have that much to go off on, baseline wise, for this type of scene and this type of platform. So it was more so trying to narrow down, okay, let's unlock these move sets for round 1 and 2. Let's practice this and drill it, have some muscle memory so it feels smoother, and it'll we won't hesitate to do this move when it comes to game day, you know. So yeah, so first day was a bit more overstimulating for me, a bit more overwhelming for me. It was a lot to process. We were really trying to figure out the skeletons of our moves and what to do for round 1, 2, and like what we're talking about on here is it's what's on record and what's off record. So yeah, so it is kind of semi-scripted. Like I honestly thought they were gonna give us a choreography and for us to just practice it, but it was a lot more collaborative than I thought, which is good. You know, we could customize how we want to set things up, you know. And so Coach Sarah, what I love about her is she kept reminding us that we have to have a storyline. It has to flow, you know. We have to keep exchanging back and forth, you know, me like losing, her winning, me winning, her losing. It has to exchange back and forth, right? Keeping the fans guessing on what's gonna happen next, you know. Like the moves has to make sense. We can't just brawl and do whatever in there, you know. So that was also really nice to have her in standing with that. And oh yeah, and Coco was also a backup. Originally, I was supposed to go against Lauren Fogel, I think, right? And you know, shout out to her. I hope she recovers well. I hope she takes the time to you know, in her healing journey. You know, I don't know too much about the accident, but
of course, we all wish a lot of wellness to Lauren the Animal Fogel, veteran.
Yeah, and I'm already reading comments on some of on the IG poster, on the IG promo.
Yeah.
Someone already said some shit like, "Oh, you should have vacated the belt then. You know, I'm like, damn, dude.
Damn.
Like, give her some time to defend
Exactly.
her belt one last time before just stripping it away from her when she's off guard, you know, when she's when she's vulnerable. And that's another thing I wanted to discuss on this podcast is me learning more about wrestling politics. And that in itself is just wild, you know? Like it has its own pros and cons, its own trade-off, you know? But it also kind of proves how passionate you are about the game, about the storyline, about it's wild. I have so much more to talk about this as well as we progress with this.
Of course. I mean, to add to your point, I think what's great about what you discussed there is when you look at the MMA world, the professional wrestling world, I mean, a lot of people, some of them make it, some don't. Like, if you look at MMA, like Tank Abbott's been in wrestling on WCW, Ronda Rousey, the Shayna Baszlers, the Ken Shamrocks, the Dan Severns, so many of that liking. And I mean, it's definitely something that's really new for someone like yourself who went from MMA to wrestling. I mean, like you mentioned, the safe and spectacular vibes, telling a story, evoking emotions, eliciting reactions. That's the main key goal in professional wrestling. And I think with what you did here, with what your attire was, like kind of like the schoolgirl vibes, and then you got Coco here in all blue, it represents the nice little dynamic, and it shows within how you guys went about it, the feeling out process. And once you got into the bout, it shows Courtney, who's done this, my goodness gracious, this will probably be like her fourth or fifth time in LFC.
Yeah, her third or fourth. Yeah.
Yes. And then here you come. I think what's great about it, too, is you guys did tell a great story because what Coach Sarah said is definitely important. Storytelling is the main thing. But I think with what we did here, it was entertaining. And I think when a lot of people see this bout, we get to see two women love what they do, the showmanship, and Courtney's a character in her own right. So you take a nice little blend here. So it's something that a lot of people get to see the art form and how it really showcases within the bout and within the whole entire product. So it's a nice little blend of everything.
Oh yeah. So we'll definitely circle back to that as well.
Sure.
Because I haven't seen the footage yet myself. But you could also tell me at some point how it looks like on your end from a spectator's point of view. Because off record with my journey and process throughout all this, so originally she was supposed to win the bout and match, right? So first round I win, second round she takes it and she wins, right? We had a game plan on the reversals, on the finishing move. And so we're supposed to have about 4 days of training. And I only was able to have 2 days of training with her. So the second day I came in thinking, okay, I feel so much better knowing what to expect from day one. We'll just drill, muscle memory, right? And then all of a sudden, so this is day 2 training is with Coach Remy. So our game plan had to get scratched again. Round 2, we're just gonna have to wrestle. Oh my gosh. So it was getting to the point where during training, I was getting a vibe with Courtney, that there was some miscommunication with training in certain moves, and my patience was getting tested, because she has her own attention span, I have my own attention span, you know.
Right.
But I was starting to have a flashback with the whole did you get to hear, I think this was a couple weeks ago, give or take, the whole thing with Rampage Jackson's son?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, so I had a flashback with that because this made me realize that I've been away from the gym too long. So her attention span was really testing me during training. She kept going back and forth. I had to remind her on some of the moves that we were gonna do. And at some point, this is when I caught on that she has a bit too much pride and ego, because I was trying to be objective and focus on, okay, no, let's do this next move that we already agreed on, that we signed off on, you know? Because when we did the run-throughs with Sarah the previous day, I recorded it, and Sarah only signed off on moves that she felt was safest for us, right? And I didn't want to do any extra moves that Sarah didn't sign off on, you know? Because if she thought that we might not be coordinated enough together, or didn't have enough training chemistry together to do certain moves. which I totally understand. So Coco wanted to go forward doing some moves that Sarah didn't sign off on, you know? So
Right.
again, I admire her ambition, but it really started to get on my nerves when she was telling me that I was getting ahead of myself a couple times. When I was really just trying to make sure we we're on track, making sure but again, like our thought processes are different. I'm more of a visual learner. I like reading our notes beforehand and visualizing beforehand, whereas Coco's learning training methods is she wants to just like practice right away, you
Mhm.
know. And at some point, I was starting to get really I actually started getting mad
Oof.
when Coach Remy had to step out to get a phone call meeting, right? And Coco was trying to rush me to do a move that I wasn't ready to do yet, you know? Like I wanted to visualize it first because it's technique. Like she made it sound like the move was going to be easy, but I know there was certain techniques involved to coordinate the move. And I did not want to feel pressured or feel rushed to half-ass to do any moves, you know, or else it's not gonna feel right. It's not gonna feel good, you know. This is just gonna feel like work and obligation, you know. I don't want to be there doing that. And this is day two. So and this was already, and she was already getting on my nerves beforehand when she was saying some side comments, some negative side comments about me when other people weren't around, you know? And like a part of me wanted to call her out on it and tell her, hey, say that again, because she was getting hung up on one of the moves where, so at some point she's supposed to fake punch and kick me, right? And I'm supposed to be dazed and confused. And while I'm dazed and confused, she's supposed to go over to the corner of the ropes and play to the crowd, right? Showmanship, right? And while her back is turned towards me, I'm supposed to sneak up on her and then put her in a headlock, right? Or do a piggyback, right? So from my point of view, when I was in the middle of doing
So,
this run through,
yeah.
yeah, she had already turned around. So she missed her cue. So I had to verbally remind her, hey, turn around so I could do this move, right?
Mhm.
Um and then like training for us got cut off short because the next group needed their time to train in the ring as well. So while she and I regrouped in the bleachers, right? She just all of a sudden I could tell her thought process and the way her face was processing things that she felt bad about that moment. Like she was still dwelling and getting stuck on that mistake. You know, I was just trying to remind her. I kept reiterating to her that hey, no, it's okay. Um, all you need to focus on is when you're in that corner after that move. It's supposed to set up for me to do this move for you. But that didn't go through her ear. She just kept saying something like, "Oh no, no, you're wrong. I'm right." Something like that. You know? Yeah. She at some point she was trying to gaslight me, and she was doing this while no one else was around. And a part of me was like, a part of me wanted to call her out on it, and say that again. Let me bring Coach Remy back because he was there and saw that happen. You know? So I'm just like psychologically training with her is different, and I'm just trying to be very patient with her and trying to focus and be objective, you know. So um and then she was telling me, oh, if you feel like we don't have enough training time, we could just go back to my place. I'm only like 15, 20 minutes away. And I said, oh, that's good to know. You're willing to train after practice, but I'm more comfortable training here at the ring. It's more dynamic, it's more realistic. But anyways, so after day one and day two of training, I still had a better idea of going forward with day three. So, but anyways, in regards to day two and why I had that rampage flashback, so I was getting really irritated and annoyed when they wanted to rush me to do a rolling scene or a rolling move with her. I had to step outside the storefront and literally take a breather and de-escalate myself. Because I didn't want to practice any moves with her while my temper was flaring. I had to reset myself, calm myself down. But again, reason why I brought up the whole Rampage Jackson thing is because I'm over here thinking, okay, now I know why it's a slippery slope when you try to bring in MMA fighters
Mm-hmm.
wrestle with wrestlers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit! I'm making sure I get my headspace right, trying not to snap on her.
Yeah. No.
I'm just like, okay, obviously I haven't been at. Obviously, I need to go to the gym, to take the edge off. Because
Right.
if I had gone to the gym a couple of days ago or last week, I probably would have been a lot more calmer.
Well,
I would have been able to tolerate her more.
right.
Um,
Well, I think with you, it's one of those things where like a lot of wrestlers, and this even can correlate to wrestling, like a lot of wrestlers with placement and timing in matches, they can get overzealous and they want to put moves where moves shouldn't really be. And you like yourself, you're kind of like the Randy Macho Man Savage, God rest his soul. Randy Macho Man Savage, like had all his matches planned out, like from A, B, C. And that's how he was, and that's where we got the spectacles with him. And then some people just want to call it on the fly. So I think you're more the ones. Then some people are very organized, and then there are others that just want to call it on the fly. So everybody learns differently, but
exactly.
the
I definitely.
Yep.
I caught on to that for sure. She was all over the place. She kept going back and forth with things. That was what was testing my patience. And I like sticking to a game plan because then I could drill and focus on that move to make it look better, make it look smooth, get the technique down, right?
Yeah.
And she kept having all these like last minute ideas. But anyways, the point was that I don't mind the game plan changing too much. It was really her in between comments that was getting on my nerves, you know? Like at one point when we were practicing ground and pound, she told me I was too rough. But it was ironic because the day before she told me that she could take it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but because I don't have that much pride and ego anymore, I wasn't gonna argue and be defensive about it. I just made the adjustment. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tone it down. I want her to feel safe with me. You know, so there was that, and I think I could see her process that even she herself was thinking that training with me isn't also gonna go exactly how she also planned. I could see that process with her. So she's also having her own paradigm shifts,
Yeah.
but she seems a bit more resistant because she even kind of talked back to a bit to both the coaches, kind of acting like she knew more than them, because
Yep.
I respect their experience and wisdom on what's more practical, what's realistic, what's safe, in regards to what might aesthetically look really cool, you know. So there was that as well. And then like after Coco left, even Coach Sarah and Coach Remy had told me um that they also thought that Coach Sarah said that she thought Coco was kind of needy. Coach Remy said that he thought Coco was a bit much. And I'm over here like, okay, it's not just me imagining all this. It's not just me being an introvert, or being kind of overstimulated with her. It's just her personality, And even Baxter Smoke Show told me that, she just has a strong personality. And I'm just like, no, it's not even that. It's that she has more ego and more pride. And that's clashing with working with me. Because
Right.
I'm not going to be a pushover and let her do extra moves on me when I don't feel safe or right about it, Like,
You don't go out of place. That would be like, okay, so we're going to work this. Oh, but what if I do this and I go off the top rope and then we land and do a splash? It's like, no, we have a set structure of how we're going to tell the
exactly.
story.
Yeah, and that's where Coach Sarah came in. She was really adamant about bringing in the blast pads where
Right.
we would practice our falls on. Um, and that's really good on her part in safety protocol, especially with new people like me. But I also, so for me, I'm a balance of both. I want to practice a few moves, drill some things on the blast pad, and then practice the real moves on the ring. So I like to get a feel of both. Whereas Coco was a bit more headstrong on no, I don't want to practice on the blast pads. It's not realistic. So, but already you could tell like her headspace and mindset isn't too focused on safety. She's more of a brawler, you know. She does things more
Spontaneity.
yeah, and that has its pros and cons, you know, especially with me. But anyways, yeah, so okay, anyways, so we did our last run through with our last minute game of change of plans. So the second round is she and I are just gonna scrimmage a bit, you know, wrestle a bit, and then she goes for the RNC takedown, which I taught her.
Yes.
Yeah, and so then that's when they agreed and reached a consensus, like, okay, you know, we'll just forget the rolling move that I was worried about. We're just gonna wrestle, right? So at that point I was already straight faced. I was already in the mood. I was already kind of going through the motions, right? Like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
in the zone. Yep.
Yeah. I was in a different headspace now. You know. So when they told me to wrestle, like make it look real, that's when I turned it on. So I was a bit more aggressive with her. You know, she didn't like that, but Coach Remy and Sean, the CEO, did. They liked what they saw, but my partner didn't like it. So it goes back to, okay, so what looks good for the audience and the boss and the coach, you know, like what sells is like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I turned it on, you know. But with my training partner, she didn't like how she kind of had to work for it, you know. Because that's when it got to the point where Coach Remy reminded me, hey, so we're gonna give her a cue. You can squeeze her shoulder and you let her know in the last like 10-30 seconds to do a reversal to get me into the RNC, you know. So that's where we're trying to make sure that we're all on the same page about the cues, you know. Um, that I'm just trying to make it look good for her to set it up for her, you know. So then we all reached a consensus. We're like, okay, this is the game plan for tomorrow, the next day, right? So that was that. Everyone liked what they saw. Um, everyone felt good about it, except for Coco, which I kind of understand from her point of view. So anyways, so day 3 training, Coco gave texted me saying that she's not going to training, you know, so I don't have to. And that kind of disappointed me, but I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe she has something else going on. It's okay, but I'm still gonna show up to training because there's still something for me to like work on. You know, but at the same time, it also still feels kind of redundant because I'm still trying to get down my training chemistry with her. Like, even if I do train some things with other partners, um, do you get what I'm saying? It's still redundant because we need to feed off of each other's energy,
It's
you know?
redundant. You can train with other partners, which is cool. But at the
Yeah.
same time, too, if here's the thing, and I've always said this, and I understand your sentiments as well. I think with the place where you're coming from,
Yeah.
if you have to go to training each and every day because you have to be precise, and you also have to get your reps in, and you have to get the
Yeah.
cardio, you have to feel everything, and
Yeah.
you're taking it seriously. You know what you have to do. You know you're going out there to evoke emotions and elicit reactions. You know that you're going out there to perform, and you want this to be the best that it can be. Especially, and I'll say this right now, y'all are the opener, so you set the tone for the for the rest of the evening here. So
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
you're in a spot here. So it's like, if we're opening this, we're not going to stink out the joint. And we want the people who are going to be in that Fight Capital gym to have a good time. So you are the opener. You are the precedence of what goes on later with it. So you set the tone for the evening. So there's a pressure on you, but at the same time, too, you want to see everything go into place and what the balls they go. Go ahead.
Exactly. So her not coming to training was a bit discouraging, but I still showed up towards the last couple hours to debrief with everyone in person and the game plan, you know, asking Sean, you know, what's up if he's heard from her. Because day 3 was also press day, you know, we're set to do photo shoots. And she, for some reason, also didn't show up for the photo shoots. So we didn't really get that BTS content together. but I got to meet some of the other females on the roster finally in person. So that's me being able to like meet and greet with other females on the roster. But anyway, so flash forward to the last day of training, day 4. She also didn't show up, and I think briefly, I think Sean told me something about how she wanted to bring a friend, um, and maybe because of liability that wasn't allowed.
Right.
But I think I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. But it sounded like she wanted to bring someone because she didn't really feel safe with me. I'm not sure if I misunderstood what he said. But then that's when I had that flashback of when we were practicing ground and pound and she thought I was going too rough. So I have some context, it's not like I'm trying to still put myself in her shoes where she's coming from, especially if I'm someone that's not gonna be a rag doll for her. Maybe I'm kind of low key threatening her.
So
I
to
don't
go
know. Me being who I am, I do tend to
right.
trigger people without wanting to.
Well,
But
let me
but then that's their inner work that they have to work on. So
right.
I could already tell she's going through some stuff because of me.
Right.
Um,
I got to
but
add on,
again,
Channy, and I don't mean to cut you off, but you actually made a great point here. I think what it is, and looking at your work and looking at you as a whole, I think you could be snug, but what you're doing is you're working with people in safe places. You're not going to take liberties with people. So I think in her mind, looking from her point of view, she thinks that you're going to take liberties on you, which is not the case. But you know how to lay it in, but also not hurt people. So
right, exactly. Like maybe maybe she really got too much in her head, like her ego was getting blown up because she already knows she's gonna win the match.
right.
So she thinks she has more privileges. Because even then, after day 2 training wrapped up, Baxter Smoke Show told me that she understood where I was coming from too, that I was standing my ground. I was making sure I locked it in so I don't injure myself. So she gets where I'm coming from too. Um, but anyways, yeah, there was definitely already that clash of personalities. Um, I'm trying to be diplomatic. I'm trying to be a team player, but she's not making it easy for me, and I'm still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. So, anyways, so the last day of the training, day 4, I came in person. I didn't have to come, but I wanted to meet Kira Batara because I've been following her since before quarantine and the pandemic. I've been an MMA fan of her for years. So when Sean dropped her name on that email, I was like, yes, it's meant to be. This is meant to be. Um, but anyways, I had originally planned to maybe learn a flying armbar from her. But instead, game plan wise, she was there to help everyone really polish their ground and pound techniques. Which shout out to Paris. I saw her implement those ground and pound techniques that she did with Madison. Because
Madison.
Madison, she still has the wrestling ground and pound style, but with Paris, she implemented the more MMA style ground and pound, which is really good on her. I saw that improvement in technique. But anyways, so I came in person last day of training, debriefed with Sean, and we were on the same page of how, what, we're getting a feeling that there's a possibility that she might not even show up on the actual uh fight day, game day, you know, for whatever reason, you know. But I was betting on her own pride and ego and saving face that if she really thought she was gonna win, she would show up and have that glory, right?
Mhm.
But again, on the photo shoot day, when I had asked him if she was gonna show up for pictures, that's when he told me like, "Hey, so we're gonna change the game plan again. I want you to win. I want you to do the RNC instead." And I'm just like, "What?"
Ooh.
I was like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "If that's okay with you, because I want to move forward with you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, that's good." But at the same time, I was like, "Okay, then are you okay with potentially us having a feud?" Because I'm already like, okay, this is already naturally turning into a feud that Coco actually set up. Like
Like you're
he's
getting into a rivalry right away here. You get into a rivalry.
I was telling Smoke Show, like, dude, I did not expect to have a feud so soon, but it's naturally happening that way. You know, she's the one setting it up. You know, because Sean was telling people, you know, that Coco was being rude to me and how she didn't show up for training twice. You know, so it's not like it was out of pocket. It was not like it was out of the blue. You know, if you were there during training and if you were around us through like our interactions, you kind of see how that might have all played out, you know? So now I'm just nervous on game day. Like, fuck, okay. She had texted me. I haven't heard from her for a couple of days. She told me, hey, um, I hope we do well. Let's have fun. And I'm just trying so hard not to reply to her, not
Like,
to let her know what's gonna happen, you know, because even Sean knew that if anyone tells her that she was gonna lose, that there's a high chance she might not even show up at all. But then that tells me, okay, personality wise, there's definitely pride and ego there. And then that shows me her character in regards to work ethic and storyline. Like you're not even gonna play jobber or heel for the sake of the storyline and for the sake of the game and the show. Like you're gonna potentially sabotage everyone else's matches if you don't show up, because they had a backup plan for me. If Coco didn't show up, then Sarah would be my opponent and we would have a different game plan to practice.
right.
And I was like, whoa, dude, this whole like ripple effect here, you know? So, and I was asking Sean, dude, has she done this before or is it just me? And apparently it's just me.
It reminds me of like if you go to like a WWE or TNA and like, okay, here's the story, and then the guy refuses to do the job, and it's either one or two things are going to happen. They're going to get punished, or number two, the game plan switches, much like we just saw here and how everything goes. I think it's a matter of, you see a lot of it, unfortunately, in wrestling. I think at the end of the day, with the story that y'all were telling, it's good that you went over than she did, because she had the lack of kind of not only respect, but the lack of just professionalism. Like, all right, you're going to take this shit seriously. If you're going to do this, you're going to take some bumps. Things might get a little snug, but at the end of the day, too, you want to have them bout that makes people tune in and invest. You're investing in not only your character, but you're investing in the match. So everything like that, you have to go out the window. Sometimes you got to take the L. Sometimes you may have to do shit. But at the end of the day, too, if it makes sense for the story, it makes sense for the story.
Right. So that's where the wrestling politics comes in.
Yep.
Because on day one, on training camp, when I found out I was going to lose, I didn't have enough pride and ego to like, okay, fuck this, I'm going to walk out, you know?
Right.
But it's also because I took my experience being a jobber in these custom wrestling scenes I do with other chicks in the umbrella community, right? that I have no problem losing. I can make that shit look good, and you know I still get paid for it. You know, so I still see the value in it. You know,
you actually
so then again, wrestling politics, yeah.
You
like
actually
the way it was gonna go down personally behind the stage was relatively messy,
Mhm.
but it was also karma because she set it up. If she didn't skip out on training, if she wasn't being relatively rude to me or gaslighting me or acting some type of way with me, Sean wouldn't have switched it up like that. So yeah, that was another thing too. You know, I told like he was accountable enough to tell me, you know, I'll take the fall for this. It's on me. And I said, oh, I totally understand. You know, that means more matches and more storyline. You know, so it's more opportunity for me. You know, because at the same time, moving forward in regards to work ethic in the community, you do want to take people that are team players with you in the long run. You know, who's able to play both babyface and heel. So yeah.
It's the presentation of everything. And like you mentioned, being that jobber, being that enhancement talent,
Mhm.
that would be like if you see like an enhancement talent. Now they're getting opportunity in wrestling. You're making $500, but hell, your exposure on TV or whatever, you're a part of the presentation, making that person look good or being a part of the show of the segment. So you don't take stuff like that for granted. And I think if that's what you're going to do for granted, then you're in the wrong business. And I'll put that in the wrong business if you're not going to be a team player like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were talking about how I'm still trying to put myself in her shoes, even though she might not be doing the same for me.
Right.
I was thinking, um, on record for LFC, she's apparently lost all her matches. So I could see why she would be looking forward to this match,
Mhm.
you know? But that might also lead to the way she's been interacting with me. It does seem like she's taking it for granted, and that already, like, her actions already spoke for itself, and that already set things in motion from there. So
Absolutely. And as
yeah,
this and as a spectator, like you mentioned, watching this bout, I mean, it started. Y'all are feeling each other out, and I got to say, with this one, I think you pretty much, and I'll put this in the bluntest of terms, you exceeded the expectations of what you were going to do. I thought you looked great. She followed as best as she could, but then once you got her in that choke, it was over and done. So I think for what you did, for how we represented everything, especially with everything that you went through behind the scenes to what we saw in front of that camera, I thought you did a great job, and I thought your win definitely looked very imposing, and it worked. It definitely.
okay, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. So another behind the scenes off record tea with that. Sean told me originally the last game plan was just be extra aggressive, do the RNC in the first 30 seconds. I was
Oof.
like, fuck, I could totally do that. But again, I keep thinking of her point of view. I was like, fuck, she's totally not gonna like that. So what I did instead was, you know what? I'm I'm gonna milk this a bit. I'm gonna have her scrimmage with me a bit and
Right.
make it look like she's working for it a bit, because I don't want to completely humiliate her and degrade her, because she's already gonna take an L, you know. So again, I'm back to being nice again. Like, I didn't quite listen to what he said. Like, I'm relatively in a bad spot, but I'm balancing it both. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to still be mindful of her,
Yes.
in regards to karma, but also keep in mind what he wants me to do. You know, what he signed off on. So yeah, I didn't want to take her out too fast, and I wanted to make it look like she was working for it a bit. So if you're saying that it looks great, that it's sold, we sold it, we pitched it, and her reactions are real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're selling it. You're exactly like you could tell, like you felt each other out. She got some things in, you sold, and then you came back, she sold a bit. So that's the story of what you're telling. And then at the end of the day, the spot, the checkmate, if you will, because it's a game of chess, boom, you got her in the rear naked choke, it's done. So that
Okay.
was simple and spectacular at your end. It was very simple and it came out right away.
Okay, sweet. So it looked good. It looked good on your end. It looked really real on your end. Um, because again, her reaction is also real. She didn't expect to lose either. Um, and I even try to look out for her too during our match. She had a nip slip, and I whispered to her about it, you know. And maybe towards the end, before the ref called it, I think she was trying to do a timeout because of another wardrobe malfunction.
Mhm.
But either way, we had to finish the match in the way that Sean signed off on. So I had to like remind myself, okay, it's time to do this now. But yeah, so that's the tea on that. And then the next day, when I tried to tag her on IG
Yeah.
on a group picture, I couldn't find her, so she currently has blocked me. So,
Oh my goodness gracious.
so
Oh man.
that's the tea with that. Yeah, I already meditated on this, so I don't feel too bad about it anymore. I see where Sean's coming from. I see where she's coming from, but I also got to look out for me, you know, like, um, you know,
No,
it all happened for a reason. I'm not a complete sellout, I'm not. I didn't. I didn't really turn complete heel, even if it might have felt that way. But but she set it up. She wasn't humbled enough, you know, and everyone kind of picked up on that. So it's not just me. I'm not letting her gaslight me. Hopefully she just takes that as a lesson. Even if there's a possibility she might be talking shit about me, But you heard it from me. Now you know from my side of the story on that, on our new found potential feud and how that transpired in the origin story and lore of that.
No, I appreciate you letting the tea out here on the LFC podcast. And I think for me too, I'm kind of like you because we're storytellers here. We're artists. We want to sell, we want to make everything look good and also keep everybody safe. And I think if you're going into this, you have to be snug in places, but they always say in professional wrestling, it's hitting someone in safe places and you're not really hurting someone. So you didn't hurt her, you took care of her, you sold for her, she sold back. That's the perfect place for storytelling. And at the end, yes, I did notice the nip slip as well, as you clearly pointed out. But that stuff happens. And then you went right to the finish. You called the audible boom, rear naked choke, and it was done. You had everything right. You listened. You were good. On her end, she did what she could, and it was what it was. But you were absolutely fine. And congrats on the win.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was such a learning process. Because even during training and also my MMA background and my temper as well and the whole like rampage thing, karma, try not to pull that shit. In regards to safety, I'm making sure she does things right and safe, because I could tell just in that first day that she could be overzealous. I'm like, no, make sure you do this knee on me right, because I will get pissed off at you if you did this wrong.
Right.
It's just me trying to balance our personalities, like me knowing myself and knowing my boundaries, it is. So at some point throughout the week, Sean did text me saying, sorry, next time I'll find you a more compatible training partner. And I told him, no, it's okay. I needed this experience to really test my patience and to test my flexibility and adaptability. So, I'm not mad about this at all. Everything happens for a reason. So, yeah.
Absolutely. But I think for setting the tone, like I mentioned, for the placement on the card and where it was, I think you most certainly started it off with a bang. And I give you kudos because everybody on that show definitely worked hard. I did notice Paris and Bella have worked with each other so many times. Like that made it
Okay.
Like, so those two working with each other well, they have chemistry. I thought Tiffany and Anna, first of all, Anna Kovachenko from the UK, my God, for someone who is such small in stature, she can move.
She's from Ukraine.
Yeah,
so I give her props.
right.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. She also stepped in being a last minute fighter, because she wasn't in the original fight card.
Right.
So and I think I've known her because she used to be on the same agency as me. I don't know if she still is, but it was my first time really seeing her perform, and even during training, I became a fan of her because I could see her taking training seriously, and I could see her being passionate about this line of work. So I officially have respect for her from seeing her during training, and yeah, and so apparently shortly after our match, Coco left early. I don't blame her. Maybe she had something else to do. Maybe she had other plans. But I stayed to support the other matches, And that's another thing too. The venue last minute changed, and I forgot about that. So I had to also last minute do promos, redirecting the address. So that's another thing too in regards to fan turnout. It wasn't as much as we expected because of the change of venue.
Right.
So that's another trial and error thing. But what I liked and appreciated about the rest of the gals on the fight card, that no matter how many people are there, full house or not, still put on a show, and they fucking did. And me also being a wrestling fan since I was a kid as well, I've officially became a fan of the rest of the chicks on that roster. That's where the wrestling part came in with them, and how they did all these professional moves, and they made that shit look so good. And I was so happy to be like right there watching all of that as well, and geeking out, fangirling there too. So I give respect to them as well.
No, you have the right mindset. I mean, you hear wrestlers tell them all the time, because when you start on the indie, there may be 50 people there, but like, hey, those 50 people are going to get a damn good show. If you pay your money, you got to get it. That's like when the Dudley Boys were talking one time. It's like, we're in Madison Square Garden, we're in our hometown, but yes, half the arena's full and half the arena's not. But it's like, we're going to give half of the people in the arena a hell of a damn good time. So you have to make the most of it. You have to give them the money's worth.
Hell yeah.
But no, you were correct. You stayed through the entire time. That's etiquette. It shows that you're serious and that you want to learn. I definitely respect that.
Yeah, and ironically for me, Um, for it being at Fight Capital and MMA gym, it as soon as I stepped in there, it felt like home to me. I was more comfortable there than if we were than the original venue. I think it was gonna be at a club.
Yeah, Club
That would have
828.
felt a lot more different. Yeah, but at that gym, it felt more like home to me. I honestly did feel like working out. So, yeah, it is the whole process is such a test of character and how genuinely passionate you are about the sport, about the community and sportsmanship, and then the other females on the roster, you know. You can really see who has a lot of pride and ego and who might not be on the roster for too long, you know. So
And I'll have to send you, since you mentioned a great name, y'all, Kira Batara. If you have not checked out Kira and her work in the MMA world,
why?
she's fantastic, and she actually fought for LFC at LFC 37 against
Oh my
Terry.
gosh.
Yep,
Yeah. That makes
very
so
good.
much more sense now. Oh
She's
yeah.
so she's so good at what she does, and we have so many people around our circle that know what they're doing, and I think that's the most wonderful part about this product. And for you, it's kind of like a hand in glove. Like you're debuting on Halloween, you get to be creative, you get to be sexy in the process and badass. So it also
Mm.
was kind of great energy for you as well, with how much you love representation and who you are. So I thought it
Yeah.
was a great mix for you, Channy.
Yeah, it's so again, with me being spiritual, I do believe in synchronicities. There's a shit ton of synchronicities, a lot of like divine timing, divine alignment. Because even just that week alone, I was able to have some good deep conversations with other females on the roster and other fighters. You know, we're talking about mental health. We were sharing one another's origin stories and lore in our background. So, you know, we do have a passion for this. You know, what we all have in common is that we are rebels and black sheeps in our own right. You know, we're doing unconventional things that most of our friends and family won't do. You know, so we have that in common. So the whole like competitiveness, the cattiness doesn't last long, you know, with us. You know, we of all people will understand why we do what we do and why we are the way we are, you know? And again, me being a wrestling fan and me watching Glow, I'm just so excited to have this type of like arc and chapter with these other females. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have my own Glow like arc with these females and my own journey with them. You know, we're gonna look back at this and be like, remember when we did this shit? You know? Yeah. With that little reunion. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have like Glow from the 80s, the Netflix series Wow Women Are Wrestling. It's very empowering to see
Yeah.
all these amazing women. It is what it is. And I think what's great about these women's, or for more wrestling schools coming in and women's MMA and women
Oh my
representation,
god. Yeah.
it's what we do. And I think what a lot of people love about it too is it doesn't matter shape and size or what have you, man. There's just, you're empowering other women, and you never know who you're going to inspire. And I think you can agree with me on the spiritual side of things. We all exist to inspire in our own right.
Hmm. Oh yeah. When you become enlightened enough, you know, because again, taking Coco for example, I can see that she's on the right path, but there's still some inner work that she has to do, you know, and you can tell like you will become more authentic in this journey the more inner work you do, the more you take care of your mental health, you know, and really find your purpose and calling. Because when you do the actual inner work and taking care of your mental health, then certain passions will ultimately uh, be more of a calling to you. It keeps calling you back, you know. You got to turn pain into passion. You got to turn pain into purpose. And that's what we're doing. We're not just doing this. At least I'm speaking for myself at least. I'm not just doing this for superficial reasons and for shallow reasons. You know, I'm not just doing this for clout. You know, I'm just being authentic. I'm just crossing more things off my bucket list and bucket list, you know. And the more exposure I'm able to give myself and the more people feel drawn to me, like when things resonate more with people, you know, that's alignment, that's synergy, you know, and then hopefully we'll able to, like you said, representation matters, you know, trailblazing. We'll be able to inspire other people, you know, who's able to see this on their phones, on TV, on YouTube, something like, oh wow, if they could do this, I could do this too, you know? Exactly.
Absolutely. It's a journey process, and the journeys were taken. And I also look at it like this. Papa Roach, we'll tell the Papa Roach, like they came out. Scars is one of their most biggest hits. Tear My
Mhm.
Heart Open. Scars remind us that the past is real. So you're learning from your past and you're incorporating that into your present and your nearby future. So it's all one big circle. Life is a circle in its own right.
Hell yeah. And this is Year of the Snake, which means this is the year where things will come full circle, whether you're ready for it or not. It's the year of karma, whether you're ready for it or not. And that's already happening with a bunch of my friends and family and communities. Things are coming full circle for them. Good karma, bad karma. So this is the year to really shed old skin and to transform. So, yeah.
I truly believe, Miss Channy Crossfire, that you transform and transmogrify with everything that you do, and it certainly shows. And I cannot wait for you to come back into LFC and do another bout with us. If what we saw with this one, I think I cannot wait to see what your future is in LFC, because you have been.
Yeah, I'm so excited because, again, on day 2 training, I had incorporated a high-flying move into the round, and I've been wanting to cross off a high-flying move off my bucket list. So I was happy. I was looking forward to doing that. So next time, I'll add that.
Well, I cannot wait to see T show your high-octane aerial assault, if you will, when that comes into fruition.
Right, and now at this point, you really don't know whether I'm babyface or heel.
Well, you're an in-betweener. You're a tweener, so to speak. You're a tweener.
I'm both. Is there a character out there yet that's actually both?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so in the history of professional wrestling, I think the best kind of tweeners, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, he could be a face or a heel. He was like an in-betweener. He liked to kick ass and take names, but he also had an attitude about it. So he was probably one of the best tweeners out there.
Okay.
So there's tweeners. There's always the in-betweeners. Like, they're not really good. They're not really bad, but they're themselves. So you're the genuine.
Okay, yeah, I think that's where I'm aligning. Yeah.
You're a tweener. For the tweener, there's your new name, the tweener, Channy Crossfire.
For the love of the game, baby.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you this, ma'am. I cannot wait to see not only where your journey takes you, but I know you did some behind-the-scenes photo shoots that look badass. I know Tiffany Conspiracy Smoke Show Baxter was with you. I look forward to seeing when those photos come out, man. I know those are going to be spectacular in their own right.
Yeah, and hopefully, being a calendar model is still on my bucket list. So maybe I'll be able to get that in with LFC. If not, that's still on my to-do list. So, by the way, we're out here still trying to stay passionate and still trying to be inspired. That's the main thing.
Yes, ma'am. Now you're just going to put everybody's calendar girl in here. It's like the old Neil Sedaka song. You want to be that calendar girl every day of the year, so to speak, man. You'll be our calendar girl, so to speak, ma'am.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, Miss Channy Crossfire, I will say this. Before we close this out, you're coming on here looking like the Crow and a badass that you are. Probably one of my favorite ever just to see from the visual side of things. You're rocking the schoolgirl look in LFC. You're rocking the Crow look here. My God, woman. Like I said, you're doing the whole Halloween vibes. I'm digging it. I got to say, from the start.
Yeah, you can't say that I'm not marketable.
Well, I will say this. You definitely rock it, and you can't stop the rock, if you will, as the old song goes. You can't stop the rock. So with that being said, Channy, where can we follow you on the socials? You're always so active in doing your thing and showcasing your message and within your journey. Where can we follow you? The floor is yours.
You can find me on Instagram, CHANNY_CROSSFIRE, Channy Crossfire. You can find me on Twitter X for more not safe for work stuff. At Channy Crossfire. You could just also Google me, and you'll find my link tree that has all the nonprofit organizations that I also support. And I always try to pay it forward and support these organizations, you know. And I got to re-up again on fentanyl safety test strips to pass out. I don't experiment anymore, but I'm trying to look out for all my raver friends and family, all my base heads, you know, and just in general, just be safe out there, guys. Yeah, stay blessed, keep following your positive passions, and make love, not war.
Yes, ma'am. make love, not war, and always just be positively proactive, to add on to your point, and just show love and give love, because at the end of the day, life's an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Paint your masterpiece, apply your craft in amazing fashion. Check out LFC 45, Booty Camp 6, to see this one's debut, and so many great women on this card, LFCfights.com. As I always say to close the show, much like my mindset, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Channy Crossfire, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much. Sell that. Boom.
And her opponent in the black corner, making her professional MMA debut. She's an MMA specialist, standing 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing in at 125 pounds. Fighting out of Long Beach, California, Channy Crossfire.